Tonight, the man found responsible for Misha Pavelick's death appeals his conviction. Regina's former chief of police appeals his termination. And what a pipeline from Alberta to Ontario could mean for Saskatchewan.
Live from our studios in Regina, this is CTV News.
Good evening. It took 20 years for Misha Pavelick's family to see the courts hold someone responsible for their son's death. Last fall, a man was found guilty of second-degree murder, but now that man, who we cannot name because he was a minor at the time of the murder, is appealing his conviction, claiming the judge made errors in both the trial and sentencing. Sierra D'Souza Butts has the details.
The man found guilty of second-degree murder in the killing of Misha Pavelick has filed to appeal his conviction after receiving the maximum youth sentence of 7 years less than a month ago. The now 37-year-old man, who was 17 at the time of Pavelick's death and cannot be named under the Youth Criminal Justice Act, was found guilty in connection with Pavelick's fatal stabbing at a graduation party near Regina Beach on May 21, 2006. The notice of appeal, prepared by the defense, argues the trial judge erred in presenting evidence from the defense in a fair and balanced manner, instead favoring the Crown. It also alleges the judge did not properly instruct the jury regarding evidence presented by two witnesses. According to the appeal documents, the judge's comments on the defense counsel's closing remarks was, quote, unfairly prejudicial to the defense by telling the jury a phrase used by the defense was not appropriate. The reason for the appeal also mentions the judge did not give counsel sufficient time for review and sentencing submissions before the jury charge was delivered, stating her instructions were inadequate based on circumstantial evidence. The man was convicted on November 14, 2025, and began his 7-year sentence last month without credit for time served. If the appeal is granted, the man will be tried by a judge alone instead of a judge and jury. A panel of judges will hear written submissions from both the defense and the Crown once a date is set. It marks another new chapter in the long-running case that surpassed the 20-year mark earlier this year. Sierra D'Souza Butts, CTV News, Regina.
Former Regina Police Chief Farouk Sheikh is appealing his firing from the service after he was removed for misconduct allegations last year. The Saskatchewan Police Commission is set to hear the appeal between Sheikh, the Regina Police Service, and the Regina Board of Police Commissioners in the fall. Sheikh was terminated with cause in October of 2025 after an investigation into misconduct allegations found that he acted in a manner unbecoming of a chief of police and in a way dishonorable of RPS. He had served in the role for just under 2 years. The hearing with the Saskatchewan Police Commission is set to begin September 14th in Regina. RCMP are asking for the public's help in identifying the suspect of an armed robbery southeast of Kenora. On July 7th, around 5 o'clock in the early evening, RCMP received a call about a man with a weapon stealing a truck from a residence in the RM of Sliding Hills. The truck then headed towards Kamsack. The suspect is a man about 5 foot 10 inches tall, around 200 pounds, with brown eyes, black short hair. He was wearing a red t-shirt, shorts, running shoes, and had visible tattoos. The truck is a gray 2015 Dodge Ram 1500 truck with the license plate 247NQF. Anyone with information is asked to call RCMP or Crime Stoppers. The Saskatchewan government says plans to build an oil pipeline from Alberta to Ontario is positive for our province and for Canada. The 3,300-kilometer crude oil line would pass through Saskatchewan, creating potential for pipe manufacturing jobs in Regina. Wayne Mantika has more.
Canada's steel industry could be a major benefactor if the Northern Shield pipeline proposal goes ahead. Currently, Regina's steel plant is the only one in Canada capable of producing large-diameter pipe. The multi-billion-dollar proposal was announced earlier this week by the premiers of Alberta and Ontario.
By connecting Alberta's energy with Canadian refineries and European markets, we can create jobs, grow our economy, and make the most out of the world-class resources that we've been blessed with.
The pipeline would have a capacity to move 500,000 barrels of crude oil per day from Hardisty, Alberta, to refineries in Sarnia, Ontario, crossing through Saskatchewan and Manitoba along the way. So far, the project does not have private sector backing.
We'll reach out to the private sector, but we won't hesitate to do what the government in Canada and Alberta is doing.
Saskatchewan welcomes the proposal. In a statement, it said, the government of Saskatchewan will continue to support major projects that strengthen our energy security and foster economic growth across Canada. Premier Scott Moe met with premiers in Calgary, but was not present at the announcement.
My first thought was it's conspicuous the absence of our premier in this announcement.
While Saskatchewan is on board with the pipeline proposal, Manitoba's NDP government is not. It's concerned that Indigenous groups were not consulted first. Ontario is working with Indigenous groups to win their support. Wayne Mantika, CTV News, Regina.
On Saturday, the RCAF Snowbirds are set for their annual hometown air show, but after the federal government announced earlier this year the team would be temporarily grounded, this show could be its last at 15-Wing Moose Jaw for some time. It's prompted one local woman to lead the charge, pleading for Ottawa to rethink its decision. Donovan Mace explains.
Born and raised on a farm just south of 15-Wing Moose Jaw, Janet Kitts would watch and wonder the Canadian Forces Snowbirds practices as the team flew over her family's home.
To me, they're more than an air demonstration squadron.
But after learning in May the team would be grounded at the end of this air show season, she began researching the best way to keep that from happening.
They do these amazing performances, and when you're watching, you're just getting this amazing, overwhelming sense of pride that they represent Canada.
Kitts has since started a petition to the federal government aiming to have the Ministry of Defence rethink its decision to ground the team. Her letter to the House of Commons requests Ottawa continues the Snowbirds operations even as it searches for new aircraft for the team.
They're a special team to Canada. They're Canada's team. It just feels like that Canadians don't want to lose that in the transition period.
Hundreds of Canadians from coast to coast to coast have already supported her petition.
This is something that's ours. We're not going to let it go.
It caught the eye of local MP Fraser Tolmie, who was quick to get behind the campaign.
That shows the passion of our community. Jana is someone, a resident within our community and recognizes the importance of the Snowbirds, not just in the city of Moose Jaw or the province of Saskatchewan, but across Canada.
And as the Snowbirds ready for their annual hometown show at 15-Wing Moose Jaw Saturday, Kitts hopeful it's not the last.
If we were able to see them continue in some capacity, it just really inspires a person to keep voicing concerns on matters that they're passionate about, and I think it just gives us a lot of hope.
After garnering enough signatures to be presented to the House of Commons, Tolmie expects to read Kitts' petition when Parliament resumes this fall. Donovan May, CTV News, Moose Jaw.
Barricades have gone up at some east central Saskatchewan provincial parks that were hit by flooding. Sask Park says the barricades are for visitor safety in high water level areas and should not be moved or bypassed. Duck Mountain Provincial Park remains open, as does the golf course, but 2 trails are closed along with 2 marinas, and boat launches are to be used at your own risk. Porcupine Hill Provincial Park near Hudson Bay has 3 boat launches closed along with the Saganins Day use area. Good Spirit Provincial Park, it is still open and operating as usual. Now, the sun came out to play today, Sabine, but what can we expect in the province this evening?
Well, heading into this evening, depending on where you are in the province, we've got a number of watches and warnings issued for some severe weather. In the southwest in particular, we do have some severe thunderstorm watches issued. Just north of that area, though, into the Kindersley area, you can see the pink shaded area. We do have some tornado watches issued right now. All of these are just watches until we get further up into the Meadow Lake area, where we are seeing a severe thunderstorm warning issued. Now, it's that grayed out area I do want to talk about. That's covering basically most of Saskatchewan, where it is a weather statement from Environment Canada discussing the heat event that we could expect to kick in about Friday throughout the weekend into Monday. Now, if we take a look at today's temperatures, about 24 degrees. Currently, the humidex value is still at about 27 degrees, and that's just a start, Lee, because we're going to start to see those values getting into the 40s by the weekend. But I'll have more info in your full forecast. Lee?
Quite the colorful province. Thank you, Sabine. Regina's Queen City X is warning people about a scam claiming to offer free gate passes. Event organizers say the messages are fraudulent and remind people not to click on any links or give personal and payment info should they receive one. Any official communication from QCX or Real District will come from an email address ending in real1884.ca. People can also check official channels on social media for updates or contact information. Frontline RCMP officers are switching from gray to navy blue uniform shirts. Starting this month, RCMP officers, including those here in Saskatchewan, will begin wearing the new shirts brought in as part of an effort to modernize RCMP uniforms. For the foreseeable future, some Mounties may still be seen wearing the green uniform shirts while on duty. Police say they wanted the public to be aware of the change to avoid any possible confusion. Well, it's becoming an all too familiar phrase for healthcare in Canada, hallway medicine. When patients in hospital are treated in hallways because all the beds in the rooms are full. Well, one woman is providing a dire diagnosis for Saskatchewan Care after her recent experience at a Saskatoon hospital. Hallie Mandrick has her story.
The days that Anne Fournier says she spent in the hallway of Saskatoon's Royal University Hospital awaiting care for an inflamed small intestine was a troubling experience.
I had to watch as two grown men had to urinate next to me with portable urinals, in full view of us in the hallway and anybody else who happened to be walking past. It was disgusting and not at all what I imagined to see when getting healthcare in Saskatchewan.
The Saskatoon resident says she went to the emergency room after vomiting blood and spent the next 3 days in a bed located in a hallway adjacent to the emergency room, adding that she sent an email to Saskatchewan's Minister of Health expressing her concerns and had not heard back.
It's got so much worse and nothing seems to be done about it. It's like, it'll rectify itself, but that's not how it works. It can't be rectified unless something's done. We need to retain members of staff. We need to be attracting medical people.
In a statement to CTV News, Minister of Health Jeremy Cockrell said, quote, "Extended stays in hospital hallways are not the experience we want for any Saskatchewan patient. As health minister, I regularly have opportunities to visit healthcare facilities, including emergency departments across our province. Our government is listening to patients and healthcare workers, and their feedback informed our Patients First healthcare plan, which includes detailed next steps for improving access to hospital emergency and urgent care," adding that he plans to correspond directly with Fournier regarding her email. The president of the Saskatchewan Union of Nurses says situations like this one are increasingly common and contributing to retention issues.
We're putting patients in an unsafe situation, but we're also putting nurses in a really bad situation to have to respond with not the appropriate resources and having to, really fight between morals of doing what is right and giving people the dignity they deserve with minimal resources that they have.
The province says it's working to expand inpatient capacity at Saskatoon hospitals by 146 beds and also points to the urgent care centre, which is currently under construction. Hallie Mandrick, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Well, Saskatoon is known as the Bridge City with the river running through it. And what about the city of mountains? Mountains? Well, Laura Woodward shows us a bizarre shirt on sale in Walmart right now that has shoppers doing a bit of a double take.
These shirts and sweaters sold at Walmart show off Saskatoon's skyline. But there's one pretty big problem. Those mountains in the background, definitely not part of the Prairie City.
It's clearly AI. You can just kind of tell. Why wouldn't you just make that on your own when it's super simple and something you could easily make by just taking a picture?
They have a goose in there, a Canadian goose. I guess that's a good try, hey?
I don't like it, to be perfectly honest.
They should probably have if they're going to sell something like that, maybe have a local designer instead of AI because it looks not good.
Here's our pterodactyl-like bird.
Over at Discover Saskatoon, the design is getting a few laughs. While CTV News could not confirm exactly how the image was made, the tourism group says if you're going to sell Saskatoon merch, it should be created by a local artist who actually knows what the city looks like.
It's great that like a store like Walmart wants to put, representations of cities and, where the city they happen to be in their stores. It's just, let's be a bit more accurate.
Tech expert Carmi Levy says AI-generated mistakes are everywhere online. online, but they're increasingly making their way into the physical world.
The image on this T-shirt is certainly something that doesn't exist in real life, and it's a perfect example of how AI can get things spectacularly wrong, especially when the humans who are using it have no idea what they're talking about.
The shirts are manufactured by Gildan. The company tells CTV News it only supplies the blank apparel and had no role in creating or printing the image.
This happens when quality control takes a day off.
We reached out to Walmart asking how the design made it onto store shelves, but did not hear back by deadline. Laura Woodward, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Still ahead, the Prime Minister reveals where Canada's defence spending is going at this week's NATO summit. Plus, it appears the ceasefire is over between the United States and Iran. World leaders, including Canadian Prime Minister, has wrapped up 2 days of talks in Turkey with U.S. President Donald Trump, calling the summit a success, adding there was tremendous love and unity in the room. Graham Richardson is there and has more.
Even as Canada reviews how many American F-35s it will buy, it's getting ready to arm the jets. An $800 million contract to a German firm for Joint Strike missiles on the F-35s. Part of Canada's boost to defense spending.
The capacities are being built, and you've seen recent announcements. There's more announcements today from Canada in terms of our procurement.
From Canada, it's new submarines, surveillance aircraft like GlobalEye, and the fighter jets, all boosting spending as Americans have demanded for many years. Carney says U.S. President Donald Trump is pushing NATO to change.
It's not just he's winning the argument, he's won the argument. Countries recognize that they need to take more responsibility, see the direct threats.
In the space of just a few hours, Donald Trump blasted Spain, threatening to cut off all trade with the United States.
Spain is a wasted cause. We don't want to do any trade business with Spain anymore.
A short time later, it was all about unity with NATO allies.
The unity in that room was incredible. Really a love. It was sort of pretty wild.
NATO's Secretary General has demanded a clear and credible plan for allies to spend 5% of GDP on defense by 2035. He also credits the American shift.
President Trump has been able to finally get done what since Eisenhower American presidents tried to do, which was to equalize defense spending between Europe and the United States.
Carney insists Canada is well on its way.
By the NATO definition, before the end of this decade, we are spending 4%.
So as NATO grapples with Donald Trump's mood, the hard part will be trying to fill the gap the Americans are leading. NATO and Canada say that's what all this spending is about, and they're up to the task. Graham Richardson, CTV News, Ankara.
Meanwhile, the U.S. president was talking tough about Iran at the NATO summit. Donald Trump blaming Iran's leaders, calling them cuckoo and scum for violating the shaky ceasefire. Joy Malbin has the latest.
The U.S. president said he's done. At the NATO summit, Donald Trump declared the fragile ceasefire with Iran is no more.
I think it's over. I don't want to deal with them anymore. They're scum. They're led by sick people. And they're vicious, violent people. And if they had a nuclear weapon, they'd use it.
After another round of tit-for-tat strikes, the U.S. military blasted 80 targets in Iran. Retaliation, it says, for Iran's attacks on commercial oil tankers violating the ceasefire. In response, Tehran said it struck American bases in the Gulf, and Trump is furious.
We hit him very hard last night. Very, very hard. Probably hit him hard again tonight. I'll give him a little warning. We may take over Cargill. There's not a thing they can do about it.
Canada's Prime Minister felt the U.S. strikes were justified.
The United States has responded as appropriate to look to stop this behavior and put in place at least conditions to reestablish the ceasefire.
But as mourning continues for Iran's supreme leader, state media accused the president of bullying. One official warned Trump is, quote, driving the region toward fire. But by the afternoon, Trump, who once praised Iran's leadership as smart and rational, said,
I think they're a little loco. They're a little crazy. I got to know them. And I'm not sure I want to make a deal with them. We can play games, but I'm not sure I want to make a deal. Let's just finish the job.
Unclear if this is a return to full-scale war. The president declared he's Iran's #1 target, calling ceasefire talks a waste of time, but said his negotiating team could still go ahead. Joy Melvin, CTV News, Washington.
A wildfire burning in BC's Fraser Canyon has forced more people from their homes and closed a section of the Trans-Canada Highway.
We're always preparing for the worst and hoping for the best. It's why we're asking British Columbians all across the province, but in particular in the areas around Boston Bar and the vicinity of this fire, to have your go bags ready and to be fire smart.
The 25 square kilometer Brunswick Creek wildfire is burning near the community of Boston Bar, about 2.5 hours northeast of Vancouver. More than 160 properties are under evacuation orders as crews battle the flames. A stretch of Highway 1 north of Boston Bar remains closed after flames spread to both sides of the Trans-Canada Highway. And Air Canada has named the head of Scandinavian Airlines as its next CEO.
It is an honor to have been chosen to lead this major carrier, to continue implementing its growth strategy and to pave the way for an even brighter future.
And Co van der Werf will become president and chief executive officer of Air Canada by the end of January 2027. His predecessor, Michael Rousseau, is set to retire at the end of August. Rousseau was widely criticized after he delivered an English-only message following a deadly collision between an Air Canada plane and a fire truck at New York's LaGuardia Airport earlier this year. Air Canada says their next CEO speaks Dutch and is able to communicate in both French and English. Coming up, the province's tourism industry gathers in Saskatoon to highlight Saskatchewan's summer events.
Get ready to cast a line and do it for free. Thursday on Your Morning, our angling expert Jason Matity with everything you need to know ahead of the next free fishing weekend in Saskatchewan.
All right, let's take a look at your forecast. What's to come heading into this weekend? We already have seen those. Environment and Climate Change Canada has issued the weather statements regarding the heat. Today, we got into seasonal territory with those temperatures. Daytime high got up to about 24, 25 degrees, currently sitting at 23. Feeling like 27 degrees right now with the winds just under 30 kilometers an hour. So this is basically what we're looking at. We've got a number of watches in the southwest looking at some severe thunderstorm watches. And then just north of that, we're seeing some tornado watches. Earlier, it looked like the watches had lifted, but still in effect right now. So tornado watches issued for parts of western Saskatchewan. More severe thunderstorm watches. We have some severe thunderstorm warnings right under where that system is making its way through. But it is this gray shaded area. You can't see it, but it is actually covering all of central southern Saskatchewan because of the warm temperatures that are on the way. Now, let's first talk about what we're expecting in terms of active weather, because there is some rain expected. It's actually expected tonight into tomorrow morning, and we'll start to see it come with that system that's coming in from Alberta. So it does look like we have some storm cells mixed in with this rain system that's coming through. However, originally it looked like we were going to see it extend further into southern Saskatchewan. So this is what we're expecting to see arrive later this evening. Prince Albert expecting to see anywhere between 5 to 10 millimeters of rain as that system makes its way through. And then later on, well, early tomorrow morning, we'll see that system starting to make its way through parts of the Parkland. Also expecting to see probably about 5 to 10 millimeters of rain along with the southeast around the Estevan area. Any rain that we do see coming through parts of Saskatoon, Regina could be anywhere up to about 3 to 5 millimeters of rain. Not really expecting to see much more than that. And then as we head into Thursday, most of the day expecting to be pretty clear conditions, a lot of sunshine and warmer temperatures. And then again, Thursday night expecting to see more of that precipitation making its way through parts of central and southern Saskatchewan. Not any big systems that are, as of right now, looking like we're going to see any big thunderstorms coming through. But again, when we start to see the humidity and the heat we do see some pop-up storms arrive as well. Friday morning, starting the day with clear conditions, and it looks like it's staying mostly clear until we get into Friday evening again. Saw a little bit of those storm systems popping up around the parkland later in the day, but then we're going to continue to see nothing but sunshine heading into the weekend as well. So temperatures, this is what we want to talk about. Tomorrow, we're still seeing those temperatures within seasonal range, expecting to see some scattered storms throughout parts of northern Saskatchewan. But the humidex level is what we're talking about when we're talking about these feels like temperature. So that is the combination of the air temperatures and of course the relative humidity. So the more humidity in the air, what the temperature, the air temperature is going to feel like to the average person is going to be a lot warmer. So even heading into tomorrow, these mid-20 temperatures are going to be feeling closer to the 30-degree range. North Battleford 23 tomorrow, 24 Saskatoon, 26 for Yorkton over in the southwest, close to 30 degrees. Maple Creek 28, 26 for Swift Current, Moose Jaw 27 the southeast, same thing, high 20s expected for the air temperature. For Regina tomorrow, 15 tonight and then warming to 25 tomorrow, mainly sunny. The 25 degrees will feel closer to about 29. By Friday, 29, nothing but sunshine, feeling like 38. So the humidex level on Friday will be 38 degrees. Saturday, expecting a daytime high of 32 with a humidex level of 40 degrees. Sunday, 35 is the expected daytime high with a humidex level of 44. So I know that's game day. We have a lot of stuff happening all weekend with Craven, with the football game, and especially the football game in particular. The daytime high usually kicks in around 3 or 4 o'clock. So something to be mindful of. Make sure you're staying hydrated, have that sunscreen on. Even by Monday, 29 expected daytime high. Humidex level is expected to be at 38. And then by the time we get to Tuesday, Wednesday, with those high 20s, we'll see the humidex level a little bit more bearable. 28. So a very hot weekend expected starting on Friday, Lee.
I feel bad for anyone that's camping in tents at Craven. That's going to be like a sauna. Even at like 3 a.m. it's going to be.
It's going to be very muggy, and just if just make sure you're staying hydrated. That's the main thing I want to keep hitting.
That's what I think when I think of Craven. Hydration. Thanks, Sabine. Well, members of Saskatchewan's tourism sector gathered in Saskatoon to showcase summer events and attractions across the province with the goal of encouraging residents and visitors to make the most of the season. Stacey Hine has more.
In Saskatchewan, summer is everything.
That's why tourism organizations from across the province are encouraging residents and visitors to get out and explore this summer, including the Saskatchewan Science Centre's new exhibit, Journey to Space.
You get the opportunity as a visitor to come and explore and see what it's like to actually live in space on the International Space Station. You might actually even meet Jeremy Hansen in a flat cardboard cutout kind of way, but he's there.
There's a kingdom waiting for a king.
That trailer is for Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, which will play at the Science Centre's IMAX Theatre next week. The centre is one of just 41 theatres worldwide screening the film. Wanuskewin Heritage Park is also highlighting its summer activities. Co-executive director Andrew McDonald says the site has been a gathering place for First Nations across the Northern Plains for thousands of years. To help more people experience its history and culture, the park is offering admission by donation every Sunday in August.
So we're really blessed to be working with a lot of fantastic people within the community who help us to achieve our mandate of showcasing Northern Plains Indigenous cultures.
The Western Development Museum is also hosting a range of events throughout the summer. Creative Saskatchewan's summer lineup includes a songwriters showcase at Country Thunder in Craven this weekend, where artists will take to the stage each afternoon to perform their songs and share the stories behind them. From museums and music to more than 40 summer festivals across the province, tourism organizations say there's no shortage of ways to make the most of a Saskatchewan summer. Stacey Hine, CTV News, Saskatoon.
Still ahead, after missing the past few games with a lower body injury, A.J. Ouellette looks to return to the lineup this week.
Here's what's happening in our community. The 2026 MSI computer camps will be happening from July 6th to 10th, starting at 8 a.m. at the University of Regina Classroom Building. For details, head to compcamps.com. The community market will be held on July 10th, starting at 8:45 in the morning at 701 Park Avenue in Esterhazy. For details, email reneeanderson76@gmail.com. Submit your event to our community by visiting our website, ctvregina.ca, and click Community Calendar or scan the QR code on your screen.
Well, the Riders were back practicing today, preparing for their Sunday showdown with Hamilton at Mosaic Stadium. And while the Ticats will be without their biggest star, quarterback Bo Levi Mitchell, out with a long-term injury, the Riders could see the return of one of their offensive weapons. Jacob Carr has more.
AJ Ouellette, or the one that Rider fans affectionately know as Thor, was back to being a full practice participant on Wednesday after suffering an ankle injury in Week 2 against Calgary. The veteran running back, who will turn 31 this month, says at this point in his career, he trusts in himself and his head coach to make the right decision when it comes to managing injuries.
I've been with Coach Mace for a while now, and he knows if something's bugging, that something's probably bugging. And at this point, with the ballers that we got in the backfield, if I'm not feeling 100%, and I feel like someone else can step in there better, I'm going to let them.
With Ouellette missing weeks 4 and 5, it was Quali Conley stepping into the starting running back role, running for just north of 100 yards in his 2 starts. Head coach Corey Mace said Conley filled in admirably, but is happy to have Ouellette back in the fold.
Obviously moving the ball, but also, picking up blitzes and doing all the nuances that we ask of that position. But AJ's he's our workhorse, and I thought the extra time off was good for him. He looked awesome today, so everything trends that way. We hope to see him out there.
For Ouellette, he says the nicks and bruises are part of the game given his downhill, create contact style of playing running back. And while he doesn't plan on changing up his game, he has been consulting with running backs coach Andrew Harris on how to make little tweaks to lessen contact somewhat and elongate his career.
He preaches on it every day, and we work on it during individual. And anytime we're in the meeting room, hey, you could have been here, you could have got a little bit more green grass here. Why are you going into contact like this? Stuff like that. So, yeah, something we work on every day.
For Rider fans, some more good news at practice as Roland Milligan was in the mix on the field while being listed as a limited participant. The team has 2 more full days of practice before Sunday's home game against Hamilton. Jacob Carr, CTV News, Regina.
Welcome to another edition of X's and O's with Wes Cates. The Riders enter this week's game with a 3-1 record after that victory in Ottawa against the Hamilton Tiger Cats, who do not have Bo Levi Mitchell. Suffered that long-term injury last week, so you're going to get either Trey Ford or Jake Dolegala. That's a way better situation than Bo Levi. He was having an MVP season.
Yeah, Bo Levi's been playing some good ball, and he's definitely somebody that you don't want to have to face if you don't have to. I think the Riders would have probably rather see Hamilton at their best, but hey, we got Trey Ford or Jake Dolegala. I know the defensive players and the Riders in general have some history with Jake, with him being here for a couple of years. And then you look at Trey Ford. Trey Ford has really had some success against the Riders when he's played them, and especially in Saskatchewan. So it'll be interesting to see how things shake up. We know Trey Ford was listed as the backup to Bo Levi Mitchell, but maybe they're just playing it by whoever has the better week of prep at practice this week for Hamilton.
Yeah, Josh Bell should have some interesting schemes defensively for Trey Ford, because he's fast and he can throw the long ball, but it just seems a lot of times he's making wrong decisions, and that could be key for what he sets up. And defensively, hey, they had some great stands in that 4th quarter against Ottawa, getting some good push from the line, and that's good to see because it's been a bit of an issue.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing that the Riders defense doesn't have to see Bo Levi Mitchell, because actually Hamilton's defense has been playing some good ball too. The Riders have been working through some little kinks here and there, but they seem to have taken a step in the right direction. All it be against Ottawa, but Hamilton's defense is also tops in the league as far as points against. I think they're up there in sacks, and their linebacking core has been getting tackles all over the place. So it's definitely going to be a tough one for the Rider offense. We'll see if the defense can step up and make some plays to help the offense out.
Yeah, and if that offense can have the lead, though, my goodness, he is your Mariano Rivera of the New York Yankees, the closer. Tommy Stevens as a running back. I mean, he's not making the great cuts, but you got to be pretty impressed with how he's able to get some 12 yards even on a sneak.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you think about NFL guys like Taysom Hill from, the Saints, or even you go back to Cam Newton back in his heyday, that's what you see with the Tommy Stevens. He's a smart guy. He understands the blocking schemes, and he's looking to take it the distance. So it's not like he's just trying to fall forward and get the first down. He's trying to make plays out there, and he did a great job of it finishing off Ottawa last week. I mean, they really couldn't do anything with him. With that extra blocker coming from the running back position and then adding Tommy Stevenson into the run game, Tommy Stevens into the run game, yeah, it was great. I wish we could see more of it. It might open up the offense even more.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they kind of add a little more Tommy Stevens, say, in the first 3 quarters to see if it can help out with the running. Connolly's been great, too, but we'll see what happens against Hamilton. It's going to be a hot one, folks, so if you're going to this game, get ready to drink lots of water, as it could feel like it's in the 40s by the time this is kickoff. And we'll tell you what happens and look at the bye week coming up on another edition of X's and O's.
X's and O's, brought to you by Campion College at the University of Regina.
And a former Saskatchewan Roughrider is heading to the Canadian Football Hall of Fame.
By a couple of points here in the first quarter. Pressure from behind. Ball pops loose, and are the Riders on it? Pressure on Rourke. Can they turn it over? Who it is? Charleston Hughes.
Defensive end Charleston Hughes joins Brandon Banks and Sean Millington in the class of 2026. Hughes played 14 seasons in the CFL, 3 with the Riders. He picked up 136 quarterback sacks in his career. That's 5th best on the CFL all-time list. 99 of those came with Calgary. That's tied for that team's most all-time sacks. He was notified by his induction by former teammate and current Riders head coach Corey Mace. The 2026 Canadian Football Hall of Fame ceremony takes place September 17th in Hamilton. Still ahead, the Regina International Film Festival and Awards announces its 2026 lineup.
Welcome back. We're going to take a look at your rural forecast for tomorrow. Same story as most. We're going to see those warm temperatures, higher humidex levels, and a little bit of precipitation, especially in and around the Hudson Bay area. Only in the morning. By the time that clears out, though, you'll be on your way to work. And then for the rest of the day, we're expecting mostly sunny conditions. 24 for Hudson Bay and for Watrous, 25 for Outlook, 21 for Meadow Lake, 22 for Spiritwood, Wynyard and Melfort seeing 23 is the expected high. A little cooler for Lloydminster at 20 and Kindersley 26 degrees. Closer to the southern border, though, that's where we're seeing those weather statements in effect. Of course, more so into Friday that we're going to worry about those warm temperatures. But tomorrow we're seeing many areas close to 30 degrees, 27 for Broadview and Carlisle and Rockland, 28 for Maple Creek, 29 for Coronach, 26 for Assiniboia, East End Cypress and Leader, and 25 degrees for Lumsden and Pilot Butte, and 26 and a little rain for Kenora. If we take a closer look at Manor, where internet speeds up to 1 gig are available through SaskTel. Tomorrow warming up to 26 degrees, mainly sunny conditions, winds up to 25 kilometers an hour with a humidex level of 33.
Regina International Film Festival and Awards are happening next month. Today, the festival programming and 2026 award nominees were announced. 98 films will be screened, some online, some in person, in many different categories ranging from documentary to short films. The industry programming that is taking place includes a masterclass in post-production, Broadcaster 101, I'll need that, and music and film speed networking.
Film festivals are always a place where the community is what matters the most. So you go to a film festival, yes, to watch films, but you also go to a film festival to connect with the filmmakers and the other artists that are there.
The festival runs from August 12th to 22nd. Regina's Fringe Festival is also getting underway. Shows kicked off at the Artesian this afternoon with a performance titled, "How Much Can You Change for Someone You Love?" That's a question we all have to answer. The Artesian, one of 2 venues hosting the Fringe Festival this year, the other being Regina's Unitarian Fellowship. Shows run through July the 12th. Let's take a look at those farm market boards, shall we? Canola street price at $8.50 to $731.75 per ton, while the futures price went up big, up more than $23 to $783.70 per ton. Amber Durum wheat, $285.20 per ton. Red spring wheat's down $2.67 to $284.92 per ton. Feed barley, it is $251.59 per ton after dropping recently. And flax, $630.54 per ton. Prices courtesy of Bunge and Ice Futures Canada. The markets both went down. The TSX down 336 points, at Dow Jones by 576 points. The Canadian dollar, it went up a little close to 0.2 cents to 70.60 cents US. On the commodity front, gold down $28.81. West Texas Intermediate crude up $3.08. Western Canadian Select crude up $2.02, most likely due to the conflict beginning again in Iran. Gas in Regina, a slight dip, now down to $1.58.9 per liter.
The province will be home to a new $13 billion data center for Meta. Alberta's energy resources make it ideal for energy-intense projects like data centers. This one will be built in Sturgeon County, just north of Edmonton. The center will run mostly on natural gas, and the province says it will generate about $250 million a year for Alberta. Meta will also invest about $60 million to upgrade the local infrastructure. The price of oil is up again after Donald Trump announced a ceasefire with Iran is over. West Texas Intermediate gained 6%. Ship owners surveyed today say they are assessing how safe it is to cross the Strait of Hormuz. The ceasefire was pulled after 3 ships were attacked on Tuesday. Air Canada has chosen a new CEO. Anko van der Werf will take the helm in January. He's currently the CEO of Scandinavian Airlines. He speaks many languages, including French. Michael Rousseau, the current Air Canada CEO, was heavily criticized for not being able to speak the language. Those are your business headlines. I'm Merle Fernandez.
Coming up tonight after the newscast, Big Bang ×3, including inside the Montreal Canadiens.
Oh, yeah.
Well, a team of explorers off the coast of Newfoundland, led by the Canadian Geographical Society, are the first to see Sir Ernest Shackleton's last ship after it sank back in 1962.
The ship, called Quest, set sail in September of 1921 on what proved to be Shackleton's last Antarctic expedition. The Quest was then repurposed as a sealing vessel off Newfoundland. Decades later, it was badly damaged by ice and sank. The crew survived. The wreck was discovered in 2024.
Suddenly, you know, the bow emerges, and you're going towards it, you know, and it's incredible.
Now, crews were able to see the ship's deck from within a deep-sea submersible. Quest lies 390 meters below the surface. It's about 80 kilometers off the southern coast of Labrador as well, where it has become a biological island home to many forms of life.
Hopefully it's inspires people to explore our planet and to understand that there are undiscovered wonders, and it's really a magical place, our planet.
The dive is part of an effort by the Geographical Society to create a digital 3-dimensional model of the wreck for the public to see. I'm obsessed.
All right. We'll know what you'll be looking up tomorrow.
1,000%. Well, have you ever heard of candlestick ice and seen it up close?
No. Australian Olympic synchronized swimmer Samantha Reid shared this video. She lives in Banff now, shares really beautiful images from all her outdoor activities there. Candlestick ice is a natural phenomenon that happens in the spring when the lakes start to thaw. The ice forms vertical candle-like columns like this, and if you're timing it right, you can paddle right through it.
That is so cool. That is very cool.
That is kind of cool. Australians, they love the mountains of Banff area. Usually, if you go golfing, all of them work the golf course, because then they can go snowboard and skiing in the wintertime.
Huh.
That's it. That's it.